Got your water. All right. Well, can we get this show on the road?
I haven't brushed my teeth yet.
Are you serious?
Like one set.
Oh my God.
So listen.
Action. Okay, look at us. Oh my gosh.
Back on a TV show.
TV show. Feels natural, right?
Never.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a very special guest with me here today. If you don't know who this is, or if you're new to my channel, this is James, my husband of a long time. It's been some years. So we are here to talk about our marriage. I can't even believe I'm saying that out loud. It's just weird that he's sitting here. I don't think you've ever been on my channel. Have you ever been?
Never been.
Oh my gosh, this is such a moment. I asked you guys to ask us questions, so I'm going to go through my phone and we're going to answer your guys' questions. And then also, at the end, we're going to impart some of our wisdom that we've learned over the course of our marriage. And yes, this may look different for everyone because everyone's marriage is so different, but we're here to kind of just maybe give you some ideas that could potentially help you in your marriage. Okay, question number 1 is from CoGirl86, and she asked, how do you guys deal with the normal ups and downs of marriage? How do we deal with them?
I think the normal up and downs, I guess it's kind of like life, right? How do you deal with life? It's a mental battle. You just continue to choose to be positive, reach out to your friends, your family that you can trust, people you trust. Yeah,
a support system is really important. People you can bounce ideas and just talk about your problems with. We used to have a marriage group, which I think is really awesome. Mm-hmm. We haven't done it in a while just because of life and everything we've gone through. But when we were in our marriage group, it helped a lot. But now we are in therapy every other week, and that really helps us just because it lets us bounce
stuff off. Yeah. That way we're not the only one feeling this way, and maybe if we are feeling this way, we're not crazy for thinking this way. And the moderator could help us kind of
understand.
See eye to eye and understand where that person's coming from. Yeah.
And I think that's also a tip of the ups and downs, is remembering you guys are on the same team. Always. And I think that's really important to remember because it's so easy in marriage to forget that, because when you're fighting and arguing, you feel against each other. But I think one of the most important tools we learned in therapy was whenever you have an argument or an issue, you take that. So say we're the team, right? And this is our argument and issue over here. Like, we're the team trying to tackle the argument and the issue. Like, it's not
each other
that we're trying to fight.
That's going on. Yeah,
so how do we solve that, and what are the tools that we can solve it with? So yeah, that's what I would say for that question. And then next question is from Faulty_, I believe. She asked, how and when did you guys realize that you don't want to get divorced? Wow, where do we begin? I mean,
I guess for me, I've always relied on Jesus to always kind of lead me and what I'm supposed to be doing, and I've never deep in my heart, like, I would maybe have all this, like, bitterness and anger and, like, all this stuff, like, kind of built up. But when I'm not focusing on, like, myself and my own ambitions and my own goals all the time, and I kind of look on the bigger picture of things, and kind of see what God wants me to do in this situation, He just really led me through, and things just start to click in.
Yeah, and I think that was something that really helped us not get divorced, is because we had the same vision. Like, we both have the same goal. Like, our end goal is the same, and I think that really helped me when I was confused and processing and hurt, is that at the end of the day, what do I want my life to look like? And for us both, I think that meant family, and so it was really important for us to try as hard as we can. Yeah, and I think when we both realized that, then that's when we started to click.
And the grass is not greener on the other side at all. So it's just, you're hopping from one problem to the next problem, and instead of figuring out and fixing that one problem, sometimes seeming as hard as it is.
Yeah.
Like, fixing that, and you realize, you know what, you stayed in that, you fixed it, and you can see the fruit from it, and you're like,
wow,
100,000 steps ahead of what you ever would have thought you would have been.
Yeah.
Because you stayed there and fixed that situation.
And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions, is that when you get divorced, you're going to be happier. And yes, I will say that not every scenario is the same, and there are very toxic relationships that should be broken. But for us and our marriage, I think we realized that, wait, the grass isn't actually greener on the other side.
Right.
It's actually a lot darker and more depressing.
Right.
So I think it was really important for us to realize that. No matter what relationship you are in, everyone will have issues. And so it's kind of like, what are you willing to work through?
Yeah, that's a long.
That was a long answer.
Let's go to the next question.
Next question. I cannot find the person that asked this question, but if you were one of the people that did ask this, leave me a comment and I'll reply to you, because I feel bad that I don't know your name. But you asked us going on the reality show. If you don't know, if you're new to our channel, we went on a reality show a few years back. I mean, it's been a while now, but we went on a reality show, switched spouses, and did this whole crazy thing. So somebody asked, did that experience help us or did it hurt us?
I do not try to live by regrets at all. And I always try to take the positive out of every situation. So I don't look back at that and be like, yeah, I mean, it could have been better and it could have been worse if we didn't go through that. I don't know. I don't look back at that, right? So we did what we did. Yeah. And I grew from it a lot. I understood Kelsey a lot more from that whole situation. I understood how the world kind of portrays things also in situations like that. I just lost my thought.
Oh, it's okay.
It
was just blank.
It flew right out.
I mean, that question is hard because I think it's both, to be honest. Like, I think it hurt us a little and I think it helped us a lot. Because there were a lot of issues that came from that experience. Any lesson in life you can learn from, and I think that's the great thing about our journeys, is that we always get to learn and change and grow. Yeah. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Moving on. So if you guys don't want to watch all of this question and answer right now, we're going to have 3 tips that helped us stay married at the end of this video. So I'll put the time of where you can fast forward to right here. So go there if you want to get the 3 tips. The poll that I took on Instagram a week ago, a lot of the questions got buried, so I can't see them, which is really unfortunate. So what we're going to do is we sent each other some questions to each other's phones, and we're going to ask each other them and kind of do our own little game.
Use one word to best describe me.
Oh God.
One word.
One word. Do you know how hard that is?
I'm excited to hear this.
One word. Oh my God. There's like 10 words going across my brain right now. To describe him in one word is very difficult. If you know him, very difficult. Complex.
Oh, that's not what I want to hear.
There's so okay.
I'm so simple. But
no,
I'm so complex.
You're not simple. Okay, anyways, that's not the word I'm going to use. The word I'm going to use is loyal. He's a great friend, a great dad, a great husband.
I appreciate that. I like that. Okay.
What is my worst habit?
Your worst habit?
Yeah.
You eat your food, or you do something, and you just leave it out. And it could literally, she'll have Chipotle open with food in there for like 2-3 days
that
straight.
Is not
true. That is your exposed.
No, I've gotten way better.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's your worst habit in my opinion. You're getting better.
Thank you. I'm not good at putting things away. You know?
You're scatterbrained.
I'm the biggest scatterbrained person I think I know. I've never met someone. I will literally have like 100 thoughts. It's like that meme that says there's tabs open. I have like 100 tabs open in my brain.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever pretended to sleep to avoid an argument?
2 times in our whole marriage, and I think I remember it.
You've done that?
Maybe more, actually.
Oh, and the truth
2 to 5 times.
2 to 5, wow.
Who is the better cook?
Oh my gosh. I swear, if you say you, that is so offensive.
You've gotten 100 times better. Yeah, you can do instructions, cooking instructions very, very well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
James makes the best steak and ribs ever. They're so good. So yeah, he's really good at the meat, and I'm good at, I don't know, all the other things. Last question is, what do we argue most about?
We've stopped arguing very much. We've kind of...
We have argued enough in the past 6.5 years that this new chapter in our lives is a lot more peaceful.
More peaceful. Your battles.
Pick your battles, because not everything needs to be argued about.
You don't always need to win.
You don't
Ladies,
always
you don't need to win. Men, you don't always need to win.
That's some good advice right there. Do you have anything else to add?
Just that I love you, babe.
Cut the cameras. Am I being punked? Okay, moving along to our 3 tips that helped us stay married twice. Wow.
Dang.
Our relationship.
I have a list here, but I'm gonna
got his notes. He's prepared.
Don't go to bed angry. That's a big one, right? Whether you're gonna solve the situation that night or not, or that day or not, at least talk about it for a second. Be like, hey, I love you, and I think this should go for both ways. If you really want this to work, you will both choose to be. We'll talk about this later when the heat of the moment gets kind of cooled down a little bit. It all goes with being selfless in the marriage too, right? And then you get the question of, hey, one person's being more selfless than the other person, and there's just this whole battle. This is where you guys need to communicate. Continue to communicate on the situations, the subjects, the most important talking points in your marriage that you're always fighting about.
Perfect, and that leads me into my point. So tip number 2 would be communicating your needs. And I think that's everything in marriage. And I know everyone always says, communicate. Communication is the most important, but it really is. Like, if you're not communicating what you need and the other person isn't either, then what you're gonna have is just like a clashing all the time. And one of the most important lessons that our therapist taught us was using iMessages. So you may have heard of this, you may have not, but it's really important when you're in an argument or heat of the moment to use iMessages. For example, I would say, I felt really hurt when you ate the leftovers I was saving in the fridge. And then James would respond with, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. Instead of attacking, because I think that's what happens in 99% of arguments, is like, you did this, I can't believe, and it's very attacking. And I think as soon as somebody feels attacked, then they shut down or they get angry. You both say things that you should not say. So it's really important to be intentional with your words, because we over the years have said some very damaging things, so we want to save you guys from that. You're not always going to get it right, and if you don't and do say something hurtful, then always apologize and say, hey, I didn't mean it like that. It was in the heat of the moment. And I think that's what James does really well, is he'll come back and they'll be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that, because James is really bad with his words. Like, he doesn't mean to be, but how he communicates is not
horrible.
It's not good. Like, he's very blunt. He came from a European family that just says whatever they want, and I came from the complete opposite of that. So it was like really hard to try
big clash.
Mend our 2 personalities together. And we're 2 of the most stubborn people on the planet, I think. So that also was really difficult. But I think, again, like he said, once you become more selfless and remind yourself of the goal, once you realize your goal, it's going to become a lot easier.
Yeah, bigger picture.
Tip number 3.
Listen. Don't be so quick to talk.
Listen to understand and not to reply. That is the best
to understand
advice I think I've ever gotten.
Bam.
Listen to
There's
understand.
nothing else to say about that.
Yeah.
That's it. Let's go to the 3rd one now. That was the 2nd, I think.
That was the 3rd.
Okay.
Another really important lesson is when you are in an argument, no matter what kind of relationship, marriage, boyfriend, friend, parent. So what our therapist says is to give that person the floor. So you can take your cell phone or take whatever, a pen, and then put it on their side or whoever's turn it is.
Right.
So you give that person the 2 to 3 minutes that they need to get their point across, and you cannot respond until they're done. That way it creates like a flow of communication a lot better, rather than like him talking over me and you're yelling and nobody's understanding each other. So give each other room to talk for 2 minutes or whatever you need, and then that's when you reply.
Yep. And remember, listen to understand, not to reply.
That's
that way
key
you can
right
process
there.
what they just said, and you can give them substantial feedback on what they just said. Am I hearing you right? Did you say that correctly?
Right, and that's another point too, is to, once that person is done talking about their point, then you repeat basically back what they said.
Right.
So what you're saying is this, example, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And that really helps. I think that was all of our tips, but we do have one more thing to say. Take the floor.
Always choose love. Always.
Yeah.
It's all mental. It is a very mental battle, especially in a world now in 2020 where it's not like that right now. There's a lot of hate going on, and we need to be the people that are like showing love. I think everyone needs to be showing love.
Yeah, and it's funny how with quarantine and everything, I know that marriages are probably struggling right now because you're confined with each other and always with each other a lot more than I think ever in our history.
Yeah.
But for us, it's been surprising because I think it's the best our relationship has ever done.
Yeah.
And there has been reasons. We've taken steps, we've learned the hard lessons, we're on the same team, and I think we've realized that at the end of the day, we want family.
Yeah.
And what is it going to take to get there and stay there?
Yeah.
I did just want to say too, a point was, don't try to fix or change the other person. Like, this isn't a home improvement project. This isn't a DIY. This is your marriage. And I think, especially as a young 20-something-year-old, when we just got married, I think that was our kind of goal.
Yeah.
And so a big thing for us is to lose all expectations when you're going into a marriage, because I had this idea, and so did James. For me specifically, it was more of like a fairy tale. Like, I think this is going to be such a romantic, amazing, like you found your person. And James had a lot more expectations of like responsibility wise. And so
what the wife would be doing,
Yeah, so don't try and fix or change them. Just learn to grow and evolve with them, and I think that's really huge.
Yeah, don't put your marriage in a box, right? Don't put your wife or your husband in a box thinking that this is what he should be doing, or it's going to be fluid, right? People are going to have strengths and weaknesses, and
you have to pull from each of those.
Yeah, you got to learn how to do that.
And you don't have to be the same. Like, I think that was a big thing too. Is like, we're so different, and I know that's a lot of people's comments is, we're so different, we're breaking up, we can't be together. But that should never be a reason as to why you break up, because we are literally living proof. We are the most different people, I think, in the entire universe.
Yeah.
So, I think that's all we're going to answer for today and talk about. But again, if you guys have questions or you want to know more about us or more about James specifically, let us know, because this was really fun.
It was.
And I think, this is a topic we're really passionate about because we have been through hell and back. God has really brought us through so much, and this is something we're really passionate about. And I think that more people need to take marriage seriously, and that's what we want to, lead people into. So yeah, that is everything. If you guys did like this video, give it a thumbs up. Of course, comment down below and say hi to James. I'm so glad he is finally on my channel. It's so weird. It seems like forever it's been. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you more soon. Bye.
Bye.